button. So if you want to come into your comfortable cross-legged seated position, if you have a block, take that block now. Otherwise, just sitting in that cross-legged position. And can you guys hear me okay? Just give me a thumbs up if it sounds okay. Okay, perfect. So just wiggle your toes for a minute. Just get the muscles and the fascia through the soles of the feet, bringing some awareness down there. And then maybe just rock gently from side to side, finding that balance point through the sit bones. And then come back to that neutral, silent stillness at the center. And then close the eyes, tuck your chin, lengthen through the back of the neck. Imagining the pelvis to tilt very gently forward to encourage a slight arching through the lower back. And then at the same time, we're drawing the chest up, shoulders back and down, a widening through the front of the chest. And then the hands are resting softly onto the knees. And if there's no allergies or sinus issues today, I invite you to spend the next hour with your mouth completely closed. So the only way you're going to breathe is in and out through your nose. And just pay attention to your breath throughout your practice. Notice that sometimes we'll forget about it. And then invite the awareness back on the breath and see how that changes the physical practice as you do that. So take a few deep breaths here, please, to begin. Noticing where the inhalation gets a level of resistance, which we all experience on the first couple of breaths as we begin to draw awareness there. For me, I can feel it sort of stop around my diaphragm area. Just become aware of that. And then take your focus to that point of your body. And then I want you to take a slower, longer, deeper breath into that area. So a more relaxed state, slowing it all down. And a slow, deep exhale. So even with our eyes closed here, we can have a drishti, a fixed gaze, and that point is at the third eye, the space between the eyebrows. So if my eyes were open, they might look a little bit cross-eyed and they'd be looking up slightly. Keep the gaze there. And then from here, we'll begin to introduce Ujjayi breath, just one round, taking a deep breath, opening the mouth. We'll just do one round here, creating that ha sound as you breathe out. Close the mouth, take a deep inhale. Exhale through the nose, mouth closed. We're creating that hissing sound. Two more like this. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Good. Drop your awareness down to the base of your spine, pelvic floor. Take a deep breath. As you begin to exhale, begin to contract the pelvic floor, the perineum, drawing inward and upward, a lifting sensation. Again, as you breathe in, release, relax the muscles. Ujjayi breath, exhaling, beginning to contract the pelvic floor muscles. So 2 more rounds of that, following your own rhythm. Pelvic floor relates to the root chakra and Mula Bandha. Our first of the bandhas, our energy locks, our energy seal, drawing the energy down the right side of the spine through the breath, and then changing the direction of energy back up through the left side of the spine to bring energy and lightness into the body. Okay, on your next exhalation, keep a halfway lift through the pelvic floor, so it's a mild contraction through Mula Bandha. Continue to keep that contraction as you take your next breath in. And as you exhale, draw your belly button back towards your spine. So the lower abdominal muscles are drawing inward. On your next inhalation, I want you to think about trying to puff your chest up, really breathing into the thoracic region, widen through the lungs. Now keep that Mula Bandha locked, pelvic floor engaged. The lower belly is continually drawing inward, and we're now breathing into the upper part of the body. So just experiment with that for a few deep breaths. Mula Bandha, the root lock, and Uddiyana Bandha, around the navel, it's called the flying lock. Engagement of these abdominal muscles can help create lightness in our physical poses. Uddiyana Bandha. Imagining we've got almost like a corset around the waist. Good, take one more deep breath here. Up into the thoracic region. As you exhale, drop your chin down to your chest. Ujjayi breathing continues. And as you breathe out, I want you to think about drawing your shoulders down, drawing the energy into the torso. So as we breathe in, we're drawing into the thoracic region, puffing the chest. As we're drawing out, we're drawing the shoulders down. So everything should feel nice and locked into the torso. And this is our three bandhas. Three bandhas engage. It's called Maha Bandha, and it's relating to the pillars of the yoga system. Switching on, growing strength through the physical body. As you breathe in, take your next breath. Lift the chin, relax all the muscles through the body. And exhale to release. Good, so we'll play around with those bandha locks through some of the slightly more challenging poses today. Doesn't matter if you get it or don't get it, it's just a practice. From there, take the hands to prayer, take a deep breath. Exhale, forward fold, bowing forward, signaling the start of our physical movement tonight. Open the eyes, release the hands. Come off your block and make your way to all fours, please. Well done. Spread the fingers wide, index finger faces forward, tucking the toes under. Take a deep Ujjayi breath here through the nose. Exhale, rise up to your first downward facing dog. Tailbone lifts, lengthen through the back of the legs, and softness in the knee joints, softness in the elbow joints, just to begin. A couple of Ujjayi breaths just to see how that feels in your physical body. Good, yeah, lovely. And on your next inhale, look forward to the space between your hands. Step one foot and then the other, just one step, one and then the other, forward. Rise to flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Weight lightly tipping into the toes. Inhale, rise to standing. As you come up, contract the glutes and lift the arms, gazing to ceiling. Exhale, hands to side. Surya Namaskara A. Feet together, hands by the side. Weight equally presented through both soles of the feet. Slight lift through the insides of the arches to begin to engage through the inside seams of the legs. Fingertips pressing towards the floor to engage through the neck muscles and shoulders. On your first inhale, lift the arms out to the side or forward, take the gaze up. Exhale, forward fold, hinge from the hips, drop the head down, let it hang to the ground. Inhale, rise to your flat back, fingertips to the floor or hands to shins. Exhale to plant the hands and step back to plank, engage the core, shoulders forward. Work down through Chaturanga, elbows tight to torso, untuck the toes, inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Reset the feet hip distance apart for 1, 2. So think about the tailbone lifting up and pressing back to equalize that pressure back into the feet. 4. 5. Good. Inhale, step forward, rising to flat back at the top of your mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise to standing, lifting up, gaze is up. Exhale, hands to side. So let's take the drishtis into play now. Inhale, lift the arms, gaze up towards the thumbs or between the hands. Exhale, forward fold. Keep the gaze at the tip of your nose and drop the crown of the head down. Inhale, rise to flat back, draw the belly in, look forward through the third eye. Exhale, step back to plank and stay with the gaze at the tip of your nose. Maybe you go slightly cross-eyed, lowering down. Keep the gaze at your nose the whole time. Don't look up. Rise to upward facing dog. Keep the gaze at the nose. Keep the gaze at the nose as you tuck the chin, press back into your downward facing dog. And then switch your gaze between your knees or up to your navel. Nahab Drishti. 1. Good. 2. Rhythmic breathing. 3. In and out through the nose. 4. 5. Look forward through the third eye, step through, rise to flat back. Exhale, forward fold, gaze off the tip of the nose. Stay at the gaze on the nose as you inhale, rise to standing, all the way up, and then switch the gaze to your thumbs as you look up. Exhale, looking forward, hands by the side, Samastitihi. We'll do that again, focus on the drishti. Ekam, inhale, lift the arms, look up, gaze to thumbs. Due, exhale, forward fold, gaze at the tip of the nose, let the head hang. Trini, inhale, rise to flat back, gaze comes forward. Option to jump back to your plank position, stay with the gaze at the tip of the nose and work through your chaturanga, exhaling to the bottom. Punches, stay with the gaze at the nose, upward facing. Yes. Exhale, downward facing dog, gaze up to your navel or between the thighs. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Soft gaze, look forward, step or jump through, rise to your flat back. Ashto, exhale, forward fold, relax the back of the neck, gaze to the nose. Stay with the gaze at the nose as you inhale, rise to standing, and then switch the gaze as you look up to your thumbs. Exhale, hands to side. Good. Again, working on the bandha. So before you go anywhere, let's just work that breath again. Take a deep breath. Exhale. As you exhale, begin to engage your pelvic floor. Belly button draws in. Stay there. Next breath, breathe into your rib cage, thoracic breathing. Exhale. Now try and keep that light engagement through the pelvic floor, belly drawn in throughout this whole sun salutation. As you breathe in, work into the thoracic region. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Good. Breathe in, rise to flat back and really work the lower belly drawing in. Pelvic floor engaged, lightness in the pose. Plant your palms down. Stay here for a minute because I want you both to work on this. Take your hands just in front of the feet, shoulder width distance apart, and I want you to tilt the weight forward, press into the fingertips, come off the heels of your feet, engage your pelvic floor, try and keep your legs straight as you jump it back to plank. Give it a go. Yes, engage your glute muscles as you lower through chaturanga. Yeah, lovely. Inhale, upward facing, pelvic floor switches on. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now we can really play around with the breath and the bandhas in our down dog here. So I want you to take a lovely deep inhale. As you exhale, really fire up the pelvic floor muscles here. Take another deep breath. Draw the lower belly in as you exhale. Now work on that thoracic breathing, breathing into the rib cage area, the upper back. 2 more breaths like this. Okay, on your next inhale, you're going to jump the feet forward, but I want you to try and lock the legs up. So try not to bend the knees. So same principle, pelvic floor switches on, lower belly engage, rise to your tiptoes, weight comes forward, round the upper back. See if you can hinge forward from the hips and jump it through. Yes. Good. Exhale, forward fold. Yeah, really nice. Inhale, rise to your standing position, lift the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to side. One more on your own. And try and incorporate maybe one or two things that we've just talked about, and then we'll move on to Sun Salutation B. Off you go. So Emily, stay for maybe 7 breaths in your down dog tonight. Just take some deeper, longer time in that space. Lovely. If you're finished, legs together, hands by the side, come into some breathing. We're going to move into Sun Salutation B. Continue the Ujjayi breath wherever you are. Good, lovely. Feet together. Inhale, bend the knees, rise to your Utkatasana. Neutral position to the best of your ability through your spine. Exhale, forward fold. Trini, inhale, rise to your flat back, draw the lower belly in. Exhale, engage, step or jump it back and work through Chaturanga. Pancha, inhale, upward facing. Good. Shat, exhale, downward facing dog. So now we're going to turn the left heel in, look forward, try and step the right foot to the right thumb, deep bend in the knee, lift the arms forward and up. Warrior one. Exhale, release. Step back, engage your glute muscles, shoulders forward as you lower through Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Turn the right heel in, look forward. Inhale the left foot forward to the left thumb. Strong, confident step. Lift the arms. Exhale, release. Step back, engage the glutes, shoulders forward and lower down. Inhale, upward facing, good. Exhale, downward facing dog, 5 breaths for 1. You should be feeling a bit warmer now. 2, so remembering that this is building the heat. 3, on a physical level, we want to open the body by generating some heat. 4, on a mental level, it's all about the tapas, to burn, to rid yourself from any of the suffering. 5, inhale, look forward, step or jump, rise to your flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, lift the arms to your chair pose. Exhale to stand. We're going to do it once more. Okay, on your next one, I want you to bend your knees so far that your fingertips brush past the floor. Stay with that bend in the knee and simply lift the arms. Yeah. Exhale, forward fold. Drop the crown of the head. Inhale, rise to flat back. Now in your flat back, I want you to plant your hands to the floor. See if you can do that. Yes. Now from there, tip the weight forward like we talked about. Claw the fingertips in lightly and try, tip the weight out the heels, jump it back. Lower through Chaturanga. Good. Nice, Emily. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, right foot forward, warrior one. Lift the arms overhead. Exhale, release. Step back and lower down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Left foot forward, nice long stance, beautiful. Move softly, let it flow, exhale. Step back and lower down. Inhale, upward facing, nice long breaths. Exhale, downward facing. 5 breaths. 1. So now think about that tailbone lifting, the chest pressing back to the thighs. Get the real length through the back of the legs. Neutral lengthening through the spine. 4. Shoulders roll away from the ears. And 5. Inhale, look forward, step or jump it through, rise to flat back. Exhale, forward fold, try and press the palms to the ground. Bend your knees, fingertips brush past the floor. Inhale, lift to chair. And exhale to stand. Oh, well done. Hands to waist, wiggle the feet hip distance apart. Take a deep breath, lift your chest. Okay, so let's just switch on the banders from here once again as you exhale. Pelvic floor switches on. Inhale. Exhale, draw the lower belly in. And then next inhale, from the waist up, feel that growth and expansion through that part of the body. From there, exhale, hinge from the hips, keep the legs straight. Releasing the hands, wrap the peace fingers around the big toes, bend the knees if you need. Inhale, rise to flat back. Exhale, draw that lower belly in, tuck the chin, crown of the head to the floor, elbows wide to the side. 1, yeah. 2, so tuck your chin, nice length through the back of the neck. 3, it's almost as if I'm trying to look up to my navel. 4, 5. Inhale, rise to flat back, look forward. Exhale, take the whole palms under the soles of the feet and forward fold. Exhale, release. So the thing with our drishti in yoga is that there are 9 main gaze points to our nose, third eye, through the hands, through the feet, or looking sideways or upwards. But the whole point of drishtis is that it's a soft gaze, we're not straining the eyes, and that it's a fixed gaze. So whatever you're looking at, you remain there for the 5 breaths. Inhale, rise to your flat back. Draw the belly in, exhale, hands to waist. Just tuck your chin, lengthen the back of your neck, and then inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, step the feet together at the front of the mat, hands by the side, looking forward. As you breathe in, step the right foot back, lift the arms to T, and gaze to your your right middle finger. So coming into triangle pose, right foot facing towards the back of the mat and left foot turning in. As you exhale, keep the gaze at the right finger, extend forward. And as you exhale, release the right hand down to the floor and then roll the gaze up to the left thumb. 1, that's it. 2, so for both of you, think about pressing the back of the shoulders back. 3, so opening, almost like we're taking that big breath into the front of the chest, and it almost feels like you're trying to arch your back. 4, you won't in fact arch your back. You'll just feel the stretch through the left side. 5 of the torso. Keep the gaze at the left thumb. Inhale, rise to standing. Keep the gaze at the left thumb. Turn the right toes in, left toes face forward. Take a deep breath. Exhale, keep the gaze at the left thumb. Extend forward and release it down. Triangle the other side. Then roll the gaze up to your right thumb. 1. Good. Play around with your bandhas. Mula bandha, pelvic floor. At the end of your exhale, Uddiyana bandha, the lower belly draws in. And Jalandhara bandha, your throat lock, tucking the chin towards the chest slightly, lengthening the neck. 4. And 5. As you breathe in, rise up. Turn the left toes in, right toes face the back of your mat. Okay, relax the arms for a minute. I want you to keep the feet as they are and just roll the left hip forward, square the shoulders and hips to the front, sorry, to the back of your mat. And you should feel this internal rotation through your left hip. Yeah? I want you to then think about pressing out onto the outer edge of that left foot. So the inner arch is lifting. Okay, now from there, lift your left arm high. Exhale, forward fold over that right leg. Releasing the left hand down to the inside of the front foot. Take your block if you need. If you've got nice long legs, this can be a little bit more challenging. Maybe switch the left hand over to the outside of that foot. Right hand to your lower back. Sacrum area, yeah. And what I want you to work on from there is just think about trying to track that right hip back, right shoulder back, gaze comes up to the ceiling. 2 more breaths there for 1. 2. Good. Gaze to the floor. Inhale, release, rise up to T position, face the side of your mat. Right toes turn in, left toes turn forward. Okay, relax the arms. So again, don't move the feet. Just roll the right hip forward. Good, yeah. Press into the outer edge of that back foot. And then inhale, lift your right arm. As you exhale, forward fold over the left leg, hand to floor. Eventually the hand comes to the outside of the foot and then your left hand to your sacrum. And I really want you to just become aware of the positioning of your hips. We want that left hip pressing back, right hip rolling forward, but the legs are staying in this position. Left hip back, left shoulder opening to the ceiling, gaze is up. Good, belly draws in, pelvic floor is engaged. For me, my cue for my pelvic floor here is to try and squeeze my inner thighs towards each other. Take 1 more deep inhale, exhale. Good. Inhale, rise up to T, face the side of your mat. Breathe in. Exhale, step forward, Samastitihi, standing balance pose at the front of your mat, hands by your side, feet together. Extended side angle. Inhale, step the right foot back, much longer stance. Reach the arms to T and bend through the right knee. So we start in Warrior 2. As you exhale, drop the right hand down to the outside of that front foot and reach that left arm up and over. Yes, 1. Press into the outer edge of the left foot for both of you. 2. Good. 3. 4. Top left hip opening. 5. Smooth movement. Inhale, press into the right foot, rise up to T. Turn the toes in, face the front. Exhale, bend through the left knee, hand to outside of foot, extend over. 1. 2. So follow the underarm all the way up from the tricep to the elbow joint, to the forearm, all the way up to that little finger for your drishti. 4. And 5. Good. 1 big movement. Inhale, rise up. Left toes turn in, right toes turn out. And then you're going to bend through your right knee once again. Warrior 2. From there, I want you to take your arms up. It's like a low Warrior 1, squaring to the back of your mat. And then take your hands to prayer. Notice that my back heel is down. And there's that deep internal rotation. As you breathe in, we're going to lift the chest, create space in the anterior chain, and then exhale to collapse forward, and then latch the left elbow to the outside of the knee. Yes, you should feel a nice deep stretch here. 1. Good. 2, yeah, further extension, left hand to floor, right arm lifts. 3. Lovely. 4. 5. Good. Inhale, release, rise to your T. Exhale, right foot in, left foot forward. Bend through the front knee. Good. So we're going to inhale, lift the arms once again. So main priority, instead of getting deeper in the twist, is that back heel stays really rooted down. Inhale, lift up, anterior chain lengthens. Exhale, forward fold, close the gap. Send the right elbow across. Yes, good. So check in before you change the positioning of your hands to screw that back heel back down. Yes, and then move from there. 2, 3, 4, 5. Gently with control, release, face T, side of the mat, arms out to the side, Prasaritas. Have a look down at the feet, make sure they're in line with one another, slightly pigeon-toed if you can. If you've got a really beautiful out turn or external rotation through the hips, just facing parallel. Exhale, hands to waist. So from here, we can work those 3 banded points again. Instead of arching the back now, I'm going to ask you to breathe in. Exhale, pelvic floor, belly in. Another breath, breathe from the waist up. And then forward fold. Release the hands down to the floor. Press the whole palm flat to the ground. Inhale, rise to flat back, look forward. Exhale, lower the crown of the head down. It's at this point, if you'd like to try a tripod headstand, splits variation, go ahead. Just make sure that your hands are in the right position, so we're moving them back in line with the feet, and the head drops forward to create that triangle stance. Good. Slowly and with control. Maybe if you're fairly familiar with this, you want to have a play around with the leg positions as you're upside down, go ahead. And when you feel like you've had enough, come back down. Good. Otherwise, if you're just in your forward fold, inhale, rise to flat back. Softness in the insides of the knees, hands to waist, tuck the chin. Inhale, rise to standing. Exhale here. Good. Reposition the hands up to the small of the waist. Inhale, lift. Allow the rib cage to expand. As you exhale, draw the belly in, forward fold again. The shoulders and elbows are drawing back, but the hands stay on the waist. Tuck the chin, tip the weight forward into the toes. Lightness in the heels, play around with your bandhas. 2. Every exhale releases the body a little bit deeper. 4. 5. Slow, controlled, deep Ujjayi breath to rise. Exhale, hands to waist. Good. Inhale, Prasarita C. Take the arms wide. Mild internal rotation as you take the hands behind the back, interlink the fingers. Breathe in, roll the shoulders back, open the chest. Softness through the shoulder girdle as you forward fold from here. And for this one, I want you to think about inhaling, softening the shoulders. Exhaling, letting them relax a little bit deeper. Inhale, soften the shoulders. Exhale. Good, 2 more. So try not to force the shoulders in any way. As the body begins to relax, they begin to open. Good. On your next breath, slowly make your way to standing, lifting the torso. Exhale, stepping forward. Samasthiti at the front of your mat. Ardha Baddha Padma Paschimottanasana, half bound lotus forward fold position. So I'm going to do, I've got really tight hips today, so I'm going to do modified version. Standing on the left leg, find the balance point. Just get accustomed and allow your body to shift the weight over to that side. And once you feel ready, if you need a wall, take a wall. You're going to lift your right knee, take it out to the side, turn the heel in, and latch it just above the opposite knee. See how that feels. For me, that's enough. If you do want to take it further, you're going to point your toe, slide your heel up your thigh into the crease of the opposite groin. And if you've got that, you take your right hand, hold the foot with your left hand, and your right hand comes behind the back, and you find the elbow crease. Good, so you can stay there. If you feel okay, and you've got the foot, so if you're with me, we're just going to squat down into prayer. If you've got the foot here, what I want you to do is start bending your standing leg and see if your right hand can float down and latch onto the toe behind the back. So that's the next stage. I'll see if I can do it a little bit. So I need to bend down and forward fold a little bit to get there. And then the next stage from that is coming into a forward fold with the left hand to the floor. So just have a play. You should be feeling this through the outer seams of the right hip. You shouldn't be feeling it through your knee or your ankle joint. So you have a little bit of time here. We always fly past this point. If you're somewhere in between, a block can be really handy, giving you some accessibility. You could not take the bind, both hands come to the floor and come into the forward fold, and this allows a lovely opening through your hip. So just have a play around, do your 5 breaths, and then eventually what we're thinking when we get into that forward fold is the chin wants to be coming down to the left shin. So your hands are flat to the floor in line with the foot. Eventually. Good. Once you've had a play, gently coming out, moving with control, and releasing to standing. Good, let's go on to the other side. Find the weight into the right foot, just balance here for a moment, do whatever you need to do. Ankle latches on top of the knee, and then we can point the toe, draw it up the thigh. What you want to be thinking about when you're here is the positioning of your left knee is pressing down to the ground. So it's not sticking out, it's pressing down. That's something you want to think about. Left hand behind the back. Option 1, we stay and we balance. Drishti, bandhas, focused. Option 2, we come into the forward fold. Option, both hands to the ground or left hand behind the back. So just have a play here. No judgment. Just do what feels good for your body. Good, lovely. Slow it down, find the point. So if you're finding that you're getting into position, but it's really full on and you could only be here for 5 breaths, then come into an earlier stage, take it for longer, and then eventually the body opens up. Good. When you're ready, slowly inhale, release out of position, and come into standing. Good. Let's go to the front of the mat, sun salutation A, please. Feet together. So let's go back to those first sun salutations, working on the bandhas, the drishti, where we look, and the engagement of planting the hands to the floor and trying to keep the legs straight as we jump back and through. Inhale, lift the arms, gaze up. Exhale, forward fold, hands planted to the floor. Inhale, rise to flat back, try and plant the palms flat to the ground, tip the weight forward into the hands, out the heels to step or jump it back. Engage the lower belly. Lovely. Yeah, nice. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale to downward facing dog. Good. And from here, we're going to stump, stump is not a word. We're going to jump into seated. That was jump and seated in one. Straighten out those legs. Good. Take the hands behind you, fingertips face forward. Purvottanasana, everyone's favorite. So, inner seams of the legs squeeze tightly towards each other. Insides of the feet tightly towards each other. The toes are pointed. Take your hands back and then take your the width of the hands wider than your shoulders to create space to fall back into. From there, inhale, lift the chest, find the length. And you're going to stay looking at your toes. I'm going to switch My pelvic floor, move the band on, stabilizing. The lower belly draws in. And on my next inhale, as I lift up, I'm breathing into the rib cage. So I'm going to take my breath, drop the big toes down, and then take the gaze back. As I take the gaze back, I'm still looking at my nose. 2, squeeze the bum, lift the hips. 3, yes, there. 4, 5, exhale, chin to chest, look forward to the feet and lower the hips to the ground. Good. We're going to work on our jump backs. So if you have 2 blocks, then use them now. Otherwise, you're going to use your hands. I want you to lift your legs up and cross your ankles off of the floor. Create a circular flexion through your spine. And what I want you to think about is breathing in, drawing the knees and chest away from each other, leaning back. And then as you come forward, we're going to close the gap, see if the feet can stay lifted off of the floor, and lift the bum. So we're going to just do this 5 times, okay? Use your breath. Inhale to open, exhale to lift. Yeah. Use your breath. Yes. Very quickly, my face goes very red here. Good. Lovely. Take a break, feet to the floor. Good. Now you're going to do it again with your bandhas. So, inhaling back. As you exhale, you're going to squeeze your pelvic floor, squeeze your stomach in, and then think about the chest lifting. So, whoa, much higher. Give it another go. Just have a rock around. Yes. Yes, good. Lovely. Okay, last one. Nice. Reach the arms forward, step or jump back into Chaturanga, work through Vinyasa. Inhale, try and jump those legs through, look forward. Yes, all the way through to a seated position. Good. Let's try for that half bound lotus in a seated position. Then the right knee, take it out to the side. We'll just spend a little bit more time here just opening this up. So scoop the heel. Think about the heel coming up towards the center of the chest. And then just take a few breaths, opening and closing that hip joint. Maybe even create some circles there if that feels good for you. Good. And then from there, release the foot onto the thigh. And remember, point the toe, slide the foot up the thigh into the crease of the groin. And the same principle, we're closing the knee inward and down. Good. Right hand comes behind the back. Eventually, the hand latches around, the peace fingers latch around the big toe. Inhale, lift the left arm high. And exhale, forward fold. Hand to floor beside the leg or taking the outer edge of the left foot. Good. Yeah, forward fold. 3, 4, 5. Good. Inhale, rise to flat back, lift and lengthen. Exhale, release the hands. Keep that knee there if you feel okay through the knee joint. You're going to sit back, tuck the other one underneath. Arrive into half lotus. Yeah, amazing. Half lotus position. From there, we're going to jump back from here. So you're going to reach all the way forward with a little bit of momentum and roll up onto the knees. And then you're going to kick your left leg back and then your right to plank and work through Chaturanga. Lovely. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Okay, from here, you're going to jump through to seated. Look forward, almost as if you're trying to look to your ceiling. Straighten the legs out in front. Yeah, lovely. Onto the other side, left side. Bend the left knee, let it drop to the side. So we'll take some time again just to get into position and scoop the left heel. Lift it up towards that center of the chest, open and close that hip joint. Create some circular motions. And then when you feel ready, dropping it just above the opposite knee. And then take a moment, see how that feels in the knee and the hip, and then sliding it up the leg. I should mention my big telly's there, so if I look like I'm not paying attention, but I really am watching you. Allow the foot to come into the crease of the groin and see if you can find the foot with the left hand. If not, hold it with the right hand and take the elbow. Inhale, exhale, forward fold. 1. So in your seated forward folds, the drishti is traditionally pada drishti. Pada means foot, big toe specifically. But depending on where you are in your forward fold, it may be more appropriate for you to look at your shin to keep the length through the back of the neck. So it's up to you, it's your discretion, your body, but just have the awareness and the options there. Take one more deep inhale, exhale. Good. Inhale, rise to your flat back. Exhale, release the bind. Keep the lower left leg as it is and just sit back, tuck the right leg under. Half lotus pose. Good. And we can come into just a preparation for peacock pose, because sometimes peacock pose can feel really nice in half lotus. So you're going to do the same thing as we reach forward, take the hands up. But what I want you to do this time is turn the fingers back, make a narrow stance with the hands, and then you're going to bend the elbows to create a ledge for your body to be on. Straighten your right leg, look forward, and see if you can find a little bit of balance lifting that right leg. So this is our peacock. Weight forward, weight forward. Good. Have a play. Whoo. When you're ready, come back. Yeah, lovely. Release the legs. You okay? You guys all right? Good. Smiling. No injuries. Okay, fine. Let's work through our last vinyasa. You guys are amazing. It's a completely new pose, so you've just got to give it a bit of time. Exhale, downward dog. Step or jump it through to your seated position and lie onto your back. Bend your knees. Take a couple of deep breaths here. Well done. So we're going to do 10 breaths in a shoulder stand to finish. If you don't want to do this, you could practice headstand preparation of a downward dog on your forearms. If you don't want to do any of that, you can take rest from here. It's up to you. If you would like to do shoulder stand, this can be a very resting position. Lying onto your back. Straightening the legs, palms face down beside the body. Inhaling to lift the legs 90 degrees, toes draw back towards you. The gaze is up, we're not moving the neck left to right. With a little bit of momentum, deep inhale, point the toes, rise up into your Salamba Sarvangasana. Walking the hands down the back, wiggling the elbows and shoulders together. And then checking in with the alignment, the weight draws back into the triceps, down to the elbows, out of the neck. And then I just want you to spend some time thinking about relaxing the chest away from your chin. And then smoothly taking a couple of nice deep breaths here. So we're going to take 5 more slow breaths in your shoulder stand or wherever you are. Slowly and with control, Keep the legs straight and send them back towards the floor behind you, over the face. Halasana, hands plant flat onto the ground. Good, and we're just going to stay here for one breath. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, slowly roll out of position, lying onto your back, but take your time. So you really use your abdominal muscles to guide the positioning of the spine back to the floor. Lovely. Draw the knees into your chest, hands underneath the backs of the kneecaps. Rock and roll up and down the spine, eventually arriving into a seated cross-legged position. Maybe take the block underneath the sit bones again, and we're going to just take some breathing for a few minutes before we move into Shavasana. Good. So come into a comfortable seated position, find your block, add any extra layers at this point. As we stop to slow down the movement, the body temperature can drop. Find the length through the back of the neck, neutral position through the spine, the neck, the chin, crown of the head reaching tall. An openness through the chest, shoulders soft, arms relaxed, hands, palms relaxed. Initiating Ujjayi breathing back through the nose. Inhaling for a count of 4. Exhaling for a count of 6. Your drishti gaze point is up towards your third eye, space between the eyebrows. The space of the body is represented by Agnya chakra. There's so many meanings behind this position of the body. The first being related to Brahman, all seeing, all knowing, being able to observe with a wider perspective, as if you're looking out on a beautiful horizon where you can see for miles and miles, this expansiveness of the mind. It's also linked with higher consciousness. It can be linked to your ancestors. And also tracks down into the center of the chest, into loving awareness. We'll take 5 more deep Ujjayi breaths here, please. After your next exhale, release any breath control now and just take a couple of quiet, deep breaths. No Ujjayi breathing anymore, just smooth, quiet breaths. Tune into that inner stillness. And keeping that peace, slowly make your way onto your back. Try not to become too disturbed. Just simply lie down. As you allow your body to settle here, try to avoid the temptation of making any unnecessary physical movement. And use this time, these last few minutes, for the practice to absorb into your body, into your mind. And simply become the observer . Using this time to create some positive imprint into your thoughts, your speech, your action, your body. If you'd like to spend longer here, you're welcome to just stay as you are. Otherwise, taking some deeper breaths, creating some movement. Bend the knees and gently roll onto one side. Make your way back to a seated position. Take the hands to prayer. Take a deep inhale, exhale here, sealing in the benefits of your evening's practice. Namaste, thank you. Thank you very much.